Great. Welcome, everybody. Day 18th of this fantastic book, Change Your Question, Change Your Life. Today is the last day. We did chapter 11 and tool number 10 yesterday, and today we will be doing chapter 12. The Inquiring Leader. Sitting behind my desk this afternoon, I am remembering that terrible day when I drafted my resignation letter from QTech. Months after that, when I was pretty sure I'd turned things around and was out of words. I got a call that unnerved me. My secretary buzzed and said that Alexa wanted me in her office right away and bring that green folder with you. I'd know what she was talking about. That sounded pretty ominous because the folder she described was the one that contained my resignation. I dropped what I was doing, grabbed the folder, and started down the hall just as I raised my hand to knock on the big double doors of Alexa's office. I heard voices inside which made me even more concerned, rattled by memories of that earlier visit when I had come with my resignation in hand. My judger started clamoring for attention. I steadied myself, took a deep breath, stepped into learner, and tapped lightly on the door. Seconds later, Alexa was greeting me with a friendly smile. As I stepped across the threshold, I saw Joseph inside, sitting in the meeting area on one of the two sofas. As I approached, he stood up and we shook hands warmly. I began to relax a little, but still couldn't make sense of the situation. As I did my best to make myself comfortable on the sofa opposite Joseph, I noticed what might be a framed picture turned face down on the wide coffee table between us. Alexa pointed to the folder in my lap and asked, "Did you bring the envelope?" I must have looked puzzled, for she then added, "Don't you remember months ago you came to see me ready to resign after we talked and you agreed to see Joseph? I gave you an envelope with a prediction inside. You put in that green folder. It's time for you to open it." Then it came back to me. I opened the folder, took out the still sealed envelope, and tore it open. The note inside, hastily written in Alexa's hand, said simply, "Ben in Joseph's Hall of Fame." I looked from Alexa to Joseph, searching for some clue about what this meant. Then Joseph picked up the frame I had noticed on the coffee table, turned it over, and handed up to me. The first thing I saw was my photo at the top of the certificate. "Ben, when I hired you, I knew it was a gamble, even though you're technically the best in the business. But you'd never held a leadership position before. On the other hand, I'd also seen you face a challenge that you didn't eventually master. After you agreed to work with Joseph, I predicted that you would not only rise to the occasion, but also make it to the Question Thinking Hall of Fame," Alexa explained, "and happily you proved me right." Joseph smiled broadly as I began reading the text on the certificate. It described how my progress using question thinking had qualified me for this Hall of Fame. It told how I changed my old question, "How can I prove I'm right?" into ones that made all the difference for me and my team. And my new questions were true learner ones. How can I understand? And what are others thinking, feeling, and wanting? As simple as this now looked on paper, it had been a huge breakthrough for me, changing how I approached problems, but more importantly, how I valued and worked with the people around me. Those new questions had led to still others. How can I allow other people to contribute to me? And how can I contribute to others? Once I realized I didn't have to have all the answers, everything went easier. People shared their ideas, asked lots more questions, and really listened to each other. I thought about something Joseph had once quoted to me: words create worlds. I had learned through my own experience how literally true that was. My new question thinking skills has helped to transform us into high performing learner team. So when we talked about words create worlds, everything that is outside, which is not happened, is a possibility. And if you can think about it, definitely it's a possibility. And a lot of times, even if you cannot even think about it, that possibility exists. All you have to do is channelize your state of being at that particular time using the right questions, being in the right frequency, and being in the right and appropriate learner mindset in order to unveil whatever is there that is for your highest and best interest. Very interesting. I'll share it in the group. I was seeing an Insta reel. It's a shot by Tiger Woods. In golf, he hits the ball 20 feet away from the hole, जो cap बोलते हैं जिसको. And suddenly the ball turns and goes in that direction. And just before the end, about to enter the hole, it shows that Nike logo and then goes inside. Very interesting, fascinating, bada acha. But the guy says, you know what was his shot before that? He says that was his worst shot ever. पता नहीं green से कितनी दूर उसने मारा and everything. So, he was in a very worst state of mind if you consider the shot before this shot. So everything is possible. All you need to do is maintain your calm. Because अगर कुछ बुरा हो गया है आपसे, it does not mean कि बुरा नहीं होगा. But how you maintain your calm at that time and then come back, that is what is the key. So in order to do that, you need to ensure that you are in that learner mindset in order to create all that unlimited possibilities that exist for you. The other major thing Joseph noted on the certificate was how well Charles and I had worked together to bring Q-storming to our team. The new questions we discovered through Q-storming led to the breakthrough we needed to get our product to market ahead of our competition. After that, QTech had established a solid and consistent upward trajectory that otherwise might have never been possible. Less than a year after that milestone meeting with Alexa and Joseph, Alexa came to my office holding the printout of an email she'd received from the Wall Street Journal and she wanted to share with me. It was the advance copy of an article that would publish in a few days. It described our successful turnaround and attributed our triumph to what the writer called the culture of inquiring leadership that characterizes QTech. Alexa had highlighted 2 places where my name was mentioned. If there was ever a day to celebrate, that was it. But celebrating would have to wait. As I recall, all this happened only hours before Alexa was to leave for a conference in Washington, D.C. She was going to deliver a keynote titled The Inquiring Leader, the leadership we need for the 21st century. When she returned from Washington, Alexa called a special meeting with Joseph and me. She began by sharing her experience of that conference. I was very encouraged by what I heard there, she explained. Leaders everywhere have a growing appreciation for the power of questions to help people become more creative and collaborative, not to mention more productive and profitable. On the way home, I had the realization that it's time to more systematically drive question thinking through our whole organization. While we obviously made some great changes, sustained change that is positive requires shared practices that get integrated into everyone's behavior every day. Very powerful line. I repeat it again. While we obviously made some great changes, sustained change that is positive requires shared practices that get integrated into everyone's behavior every day. Then Alexa looked me straight in the eye, and I knew she wanted my full attention. I'm moving Charles into your position, she said. He's been ready for a while. For an instant, I found myself wobbling towards the Jajapath. The suggestion that Charles would replace me brought up some of those old negative feelings about him. My Jaja reaction startled me, and I quickly put it to rest. I'd like you to coach Carls through the transition, Alexa continued. And as for you, Ben, you're getting 2 promotions. While it's true you got a shaky start here at QTech with Joseph's coaching, you've turned into a real leader. And your team proved it when they hit 1 out of the park on that first product. Now I believe you can take us to the next level with some products that are even more technically challenging and more promising. Before I could even catch my breath from my excited reactions to Alexa's announcement, she hit me with the next one. Second, I want you to head up the leadership team that will bring question thinking to QTech from top to bottom. I want everyone in the company to know these tools, use them, and reap the benefits for the future success of the company as well as for themselves. Joseph will work closely with you and this team. He and I are both convinced that this will make us a model learner organization. I swallowed hard and said, "This is great news. But are you sure I'm the right guy?" Nobody resisted Joseph teachings more than I did. This didn't come easily for me, as you know. Joseph smiled. "That's what makes you perfect," he said. As I told Alexa last week, she needs someone who knows all the arguments for not adopting question thinking. She needs a person who knows what is to resist with all his might and have his life changed by it, I added easily. What leaped into my mind wasn't work at all, but the wonderful time I had with Grace the night before. Our relationship had grown in amazing ways since my first breakthrough with question thinking. We now had the kind of marriage I'd only dreamt might be possible. Sometimes Grace even teases me that we have an inquiring marriage. Any questions? Alexa asked. Questions? I responded. Oh, you bet a million of them. I've become a champion of that Einstein quote, and you've got posted all over the place. Question everything. Joseph nodded and then suddenly burst out laughing. You two are an amazing pair, he said. Great things are happening around here for everybody. Give how much has already been accomplished leads me to wonder what further possibilities can we discover together. Great results begin with great questions. And thank you, everybody, for being a part of this fantastic book.